but honey, I had dim sum in Beijing and in Shanghai and in Hong Kong. Like, I know what it is. I was just, so in that respect, I did that often. I did that often. And that is like the one, like, I didn't know why I wasn't like, no, I'm elevating this. So let me tell you about dim sum. Let me tell you about political process.
Do you like regret, as you say, dumbing yourself down?
I do a little. I mean, I think listen, if people always say, a lot of people would say I have no regrets. Well, then it's like, you might be a sociopath. But I do think now I look at it now like I should have had the more confidence. I should have the confidence to just sort of stand up and say, no, I've done this. I've been here. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about that. And I didn't trust the system, the Bravo machine system. So I felt nervous about being labeled know-it-all, or, and B, I just felt like I did it purposefully, just to sort of not create a situation where the other women were going to feel like I thought somehow I was better than them. Because I never felt that. I felt like we were all different, but I knew coming into that show that their experience was all generally the same, where my experience was vastly different.
That all makes sense to me. Do you think Bravo and like production would have tried to bring up the Kennedys and all of that?
If I didn't have it in the contract? Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, I think that they would listen. Bravo the franchise is a $250 million franchise. They are very, very good at what they do. Their brand is so powerful. They've built this brand, Housewife brand, that is so powerful. There's entire cottage industry just based on talking about that brand. Like it's no joke. So what they do really well. And they do a lot of research, market research, so they know exactly what the audience wants. I mean, I think now they're getting away from their core competencies, and that's why I think you're seeing the ratings decline, as well as like just generally across the board in television. But they know how to make it addictive. They know how to drum up the drama, and I mean, they're basically, it's like Facebook, right? It's like they know what they're doing and they do it really well. And they have this like aura of like, we're just filming these crazy ladies, doing crazy things.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah. But, I always, when I was at ABC, there was like always your programming reflected your corporate culture. I think we talked about this. And at ABC, there was a definite corporate culture within the news division, but also the entertainment division. Peter Jennings was the head of it, and he was a little bit more sophisticated than the other anchors. And there was just a leveling up of the stories that we would do. Believe me, I did stories on Botox and plastic surgery and celebrities too. I'm not saying it was all highbrow. It absolutely wasn't. So before everyone, the haters out there say I'm being pretentious, we did across the board, but there was a certain quality, and it would be like, oh, that's a Dateline show. That's this is an ABC story. We would cover this story, but that's kind of like a CBS story. And in that way, your programming really reflected your corporate culture. And in the same way, the Bravo's programming reflects their corporate culture.
Right.
So say what you will, but I mean, their programming is I think, steeped in that, misogynistic, sexist narrative about women behaving badly and shame and bullying. And I feel like that's why I didn't really trust the system. To get around to my point, which I don't remember what it was, but like, I don't really trust the system because I felt like that's what the culture was. And you could see that they were rewarding the people who were really, I think, beyond the pale in their behavior. I mean, a perfect example is Luann when she got arrested for assaulting the law enforcement and drunken behavior and stuff. But also you can see now in other franchises. I mean, I feel like in New York, they're just like, oh, like petty criminals, right? Just like DUI, lots of DUIs, lots of assaults, lots of, this sort of low level. But, in other cities, from, I don't know anything firsthand, but from what I see on the news and in social media, that, there's real problem with alleged criminal activity among the housewives and associates and Bravo benefits from that.
So you don't follow like the Erica Jane case or anything like that?
Hulu does a lot of Hulu's doing a series or something on housewives.
They did the Housewife and the Hustler, yeah.
Housewife and the Hustler.
Which was part ABC.
They contacted me early on, and they use this kind of, because it's sort of quasi done through ABC, an ABC production house.
Right.
So they contacted me and they're like, oh, we have some mutual colleagues. And so I emailed back. I said, I don't know anything about who's Erica and her husband. I don't know about the case. I know what I read on social media mostly, and what I hear, and I don't really want to. I have nothing to add to that. And they were like, no, we want you to put it in context. Like, what is it about housewives that they're finding themselves in these? Because Teresa, I think, from New Jersey, had been in a similar, not a similar situation, but there was bank fraud and wire fraud, and she ended up. I mean, it's insane to think, but she spent a year in prison.
Yes.
Crazy. I met her. She's actually lovely. I mean, I don't know. But that was a victimless crime. Okay. I mean, it was bank fraud.
Right.
So they're ratcheting it up, but I don't know. I don't want to participate in the Hulu thing. But then last week they contacted me again. They're doing another one. This is because I'm sure it was really well rated. I'm sure it got a lot, whatever, however Hulu gets their ad money.
The first one was for Erica, right? And now they contacted you again for Jen Shah, probably.
Yeah, Jen Shah, they're doing Jen Shah, and she's the subject of an FBI investigation. And this is like serious charges and serious allegations about a criminal activity where there's victims, old people, widows, tragedy. I mean, it's just like, at some point, I don't want anything to do with it. And I told them no also, because I don't want to be part of that. And I know how they want to use me to they always well, no, but you need to elevate it and put it in context. And is it that why are all these women getting indicted or in trouble or associated with? And we need you to, so I'm not interested in really putting that in context for their show. But, I can only say that to be on a reality show is very risky. You risk a lot. And I'm including myself. I risked a lot. I had a lot to lose. I had a careers and family. And so there's a certain level of risk that women in this case are willing to take to be on the show, right? So, and when you cast a show like that, there'll always be women who have risked a lot, and their level of risk is high, right? So,
yeah,
and it's not only in their personal lives and how they deal with husbands or ex-husbands, and it can spill over into their business life, right? So you're already dealing with people who take on a lot of risk. So I think that's maybe one of the reasons. What comes first? The show? Does the show make them behave that way, or they innately were all willing to take a risk? And if you're willing to take a risk on a reality show, that means maybe in the past you were willing to take a risk in another area of your life. And I mean, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I do get a lot of those calls, a lot of, can you do an interview about this and put into context? And but I don't do it. This is not a TV, this is not a news program. This is a podcast.